What's worse, the Detroit Lions or being a playoff contender who ties to the Detroit Lions?
Hello, everyone. Trust the Prophets here. Welcome to our football rundown for this week, transitioning from Week 10 to Week 11 in the NFL Football League. I'm the Formula. I'm joined by El Hombre. How's it going, El Hombre?
It's going great, man. Like you said, coming off a big weekend. A lot's going on in the NFL right now. It's crazy. A lot of the free agent moves, big moves.
Big moves.
Teams losing to teams they're not supposed to.
New quarterbacks.
Yeah, a lot of new quarterbacks. Teams on the uptick that nobody saw coming, and vice versa. It's kind of been a cool season so far.
And we had a horrible tie this past weekend. One of the worst things that happened in football, happening to some of the worst teams in football. A tie.
I wish that whenever they change that rule, what's it been? Probably 5 or who freaking knows how long ago it's been? Several years ago. That's a stupid rule. I like the better one. You got to end it with no tie. Not in the pros, man. I get it in college, but anyway.
So what do we got going on today here?
I figured right now, since we took a couple weeks off, if you're not familiar with our channel, we are heavy horse racing heavy. What do you want to say? Focus during the Breeders' Cup season, which just happened about a week or so ago, and we were uber focused on that and wanted to be. Took a week or so off of the NFL stuff. We're back, and what better time with all the chaos that's happening to talk about the playoff picture now as we see it. Week 11 starting now, or starting after tonight. Actually, it's Monday night. Monday Night Football is about to go off here in about an hour. Let's talk about the playoff picture.
Let's do that.
That's what we're doing. Who's in, who's out, who we think's going to be in and out at the end of the season here. So I'm going to throw this up on the screen, and we're going to go division by division.
Let's do it, man.
Talk to you about who we think is in or out. So let's start off with the AFC East, and of course, we know 14 teams will end up in the playoffs.
Yep.
7 from each conference. Top seed will get a bye in the first round. Everybody else will play their way through wild card weekend. So without further ado, who do you see out of the AFC East making it to the promised land, the playoffs?
Yeah, I think it's obviously the top 2 teams here, right? We've got Buffalo at the top, New England just 1 loss behind them. They've played 1 more game than Buffalo has. I got those 2 teams from the AFC East making it. I mean, at the beginning of the season, even 4 weeks ago, it would have been hard for either one of us to say New England has a shot at making this, but they've reeled off like 4 wins in a row with Mac and me, Jones. And I think they've got enough momentum in this trash division, this trash conference to make it into, well, not conference, division, to make it into the playoffs. What do you think?
I agree. I think it's a no-brainer. These 2 are in, and I agree. The Patriots, if you would have asked me even 2 or 3 weeks ago, if the Patriots were in, maybe I would have said maybe they could back in based on the weak division.
Right.
But now, obviously, Buffalo's a power in the division, been inconsistent, but they're going to win this division. I think the Patriots are trending upward big time, and Mac Jones looks super legit. I mean,
their point differential right now is not a plus 98. All right. So Buffalo's at 146. Plus 98 puts them at tied for second place in the entire NFL right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
doing
insane.
And they're doing a lot of damage on the road. They're 4-0 on the road. And the Patriots, that shows a lot of maturity out of Mac Jones, who's kind of been thrown into I wouldn't say a tough situation, because that's a solid football team, but it is a tough situation to be a top pick in a draft that had a lot of good quarterbacks, and he was not considered to be the talent of the crop.
He wasn't Trevor Lawrence, right?
Nope. And that's kind of unfair to say about Trevor, because Trevor's going to be all right. He's going to be just fine, but he's on the Jaguars, different story. Patriots were set up to win. Mac Jones looks better than I expected. Yeah. The other 2, I agree. The Dolphins, the Fish have no shot here. Forget about it.
Toss.
The Jets, insta-toss, gone. Jets potentially the worst team in the NFL. I don't care if they've got 2 wins or not. Yeah. The Lions would fight you on that one, but we're not going to. So we both say these 2 are in. It looks like a pretty much a no-brainer.
Those 2 are in.
What are we doing? AFC North, let's move.
Yeah. So
this division is in freaking turmoil, depending on who you talk to. Yeah. You got the Ravens on top, who they lose to. I mean, they just lost a nightmarish game last week.
To Miami. Yeah,
to
they
the
lost to
freaking
Miami,
fish.
one of our
Terrible.
Instatosses.
Yes.
So here's who I'm going for. I am going to say the Ravens make it. It's a tough division. It's one of these divisions where you look from top to bottom and you wonder how the order remained the way it did. I look at Pittsburgh and I'm like, how in the world are they 5-3-1 right now? Who did they beat? I just don't get it. They could barely beat the Lions last week. I know Roethlisberger was out, but he's been horrible all year.
Yeah,
My two in this division.
Him being out is not what him being out would have been 5 years ago. I mean, he's no good anymore. Sorry.
Right.
Great career. He's out. He's done.
So my two that are making it are going to be the Ravens and Cincinnati. And if I had an eighth out of this whole conference, I would say Cleveland was my eighth. They were like the last one I cut. But yeah, I got Baltimore and Cincinnati. I think Joe Burrows is playing really well for Cincinnati. I think they're positioned really well to end up edging out some of these other teams. The Browns didn't look that great this weekend. They also lost to a bad team. I want to recall.
Yeah, and Mayfield has been unhealthy and hurt even worse again this weekend. I agree with you 100% on everything you just said. The Ravens are a lock to make the playoffs. The Steelers, how they have 5 wins is incredible.
Yeah.
The Bengals, I think, are better than the 5-4, actually. I think they're on the uptick. Yeah. Burrow is going to do nothing but get better. This is his rookie season, in spite of the fact that it's his second year.
Yeah.
He looks completely in control when he's playing. This team has a lot of young people, a lot of young players, a lot of young talent. But I think as the season goes on with a 17-week or a 17-game season, they'll get there. I have way more confidence in them than I do the Steelers, who just tied to the Lions. It was a good example with Mason Rudolph at quarterback.
Yeah.
With or without Ben, they suck.
Yeah.
The Browns at 5-5, that's a Jekyll and Hyde team I don't trust. I think they'll end up about 500. I think the Bengals could end up like and I got to recompute everything to a 17-game season. I think they could end up about 10-7 and make it in. I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl this year, but
they're going to rise above the Browns and Steelers. Yeah.
Yeah. So
look at the point differential too.
I have Baltimore and Cincinnati out of this division.
Yeah.
We'll move on to the AFC South now. Tennessee 8-2, the Colts 5-5, Jaguars and Texans already done.
Yeah.
How do you see this division breaking down?
It's not pretty. I mean, Derrick Henry is out for the season, and that was really, really who the Titans, whose back they were on the whole way.
He's maybe the best player in the league. I mean,
yeah. They reeled off a pretty impressive win this past. Well, I shouldn't say impressive win. They got a referee win this past week against New Orleans, but it's a win nonetheless. They showed that they're at least still competing, and they're already halfway there with 8 wins, right? I mean, they already reached that point where you can be no worse than 500. So you got to think that the Titans are getting in just purely because they're in one of the worst divisions, probably the worst in the AFC.
I think it's the worst. And I agree.
In the NFL or the AFC?
In the AFC.
Okay. We agree on that. Not the NFL, though.
No,
there's worse.
Yeah. NFC North. So I agree with you, except that I think I'm going to give the Titans more credit than you did. I think.
Okay.
And you know what? I'll be honest. I'm looking through this and I'm looking at the remaining schedules with the teams. And I'm trying to find ways for the Titans not to be the number 1 seed, because they do have a couple games on everybody right now with the 8-2 record.
Wow.
And they have a garbage schedule left. They've got the Texans twice. They got Jacksonville again. I mean, their upcoming schedule to close the season out, they almost can't lose. I mean, especially in this division. I think
you just got them to 11 wins just by what you said. So, I mean,
yeah, exactly.
All it takes is a few more.
And there's no way the Colts are getting to 11 wins. I don't think. So anyway, go back. I'm sorry, go back. Did you think the Colts can make the playoffs out of this division, or do you think it's just Tennessee?
I've got them below the Browns, so I don't have the Colts making it.
Okay, I don't either. I think this is Tennessee in a runaway. We'll get into who the number 1 seeds are for the conferences after a little more discussion here, but the Titans, and I have nobody else out of this division. The South is a 1-team division. The other 3 teams, the Colts could back in. I don't know, but I've watched enough Colts this year to know that I don't really have much faith in that team. And
it's a team where I can't point to one good thing that they do. I can't point to them and say, oh, they've got that guy, so that means they're right. Carson Wentz, is he the guy that you're gonna latch on to.
Game manager if the rest of the team's great and the rest of that team is not great.
Kudos to them on being 5-5. Let me just put it that way.
Yeah.
Kudos to them.
Yeah. Yeah, and they are 38 points ahead of the points against.
Right.
You know, they've won some legit games, and there's been a couple times this year where I thought they were a little better than I think they are now.
Right. So we both have 2 teams left in the AFC. Is that right?
Yes, and we'll talk about the West, which is another one where they're all pretty much kind of neck and neck at this point. KC, who's been 6-4, to call them a wild disappointment is a bit of a stretch, but pretty disappointing 6-4 considering that they've lost some bad games. So how do you see this division breaking down here?
I'm not ready to bury KC yet. I've seen people bury them constantly on Twitter, calling them the worst team and Mahomes is overrated. I am not ready to go there yet.
Hey, but I got people burying Mahomes already. It's ridiculous. Like,
it is ridiculous.
Oh, we were calling him the next Tom Brady, and now everybody's calling him trash. Both huge overreactions.
The next Achilles Smith. I don't think so.
Yeah, come on,
guy. I've got Kansas City in there, obviously. My number 2 is the Chargers. I just think that with all the turmoil the Raiders have, I was gonna put the Raiders here, but I just like the Gruden fallout came out slow. They had a couple wins after Gruden, and then they've had 2 bad losses. I'm just not sure what their identity is anymore.
Henry Ruggs III to the tragic car accident. Another huge. I mean, just
so much turmoil.
Yeah,
so many distractions.
That team was looking super promising, even after the Gruden thing. I liked them, and then this, I just don't see him overcoming it. Sucks.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's too much. It's too bad because really, I was rooting for Derek Carr. I did it again. Yeah. Rooting for Derek Carr.
Me too. I like Derek Carr.
I do. My number 2 team is
Denver. What is Denver here though? What is that team?
I don't know.
They're 5-5, and it's kind of another one of those teams where kind of like Pittsburgh. Like, how did we
traded Von Miller?
Yeah.
What's that all about?
I don't know who that team is. I don't know if anybody does.
And their point differential is a positive 17, which really eludes me. Like, they're sitting at the bottom of their division, but they're 500. Their point differential is the second best, almost tied for the best in their division, which.
Oh, and by the way, if you didn't see the Teddy Bridgewater attempt at the tackle on his was it a fumble or an interception yesterday?
Yeah.
Go watch the effort there and tell me if you want that guy as your quarterback.
I'll take him over half the quarterbacks in this league.
I wouldn't after seeing the effort he put forth yesterday.
Yeah, but you're not asking him to play free safety, so.
Yeah, well, just go back and watch that replay. Tell me what you think. It's incredible. Yeah. I mean, it's an insult to anybody who plays the game. All right.
I'll still take him over Goff.
I'm not a hater on Teddy B. I was super disappointed in that move.
The Chargers with Justin Herbert and that whole team. I love the offense there. I don't know how they're a negative point differential. I'm glad that they're 5-4. This Chargers team, I get excited about the Chargers. I don't know why. I always loved them in San Diego. Wish I could move there and root for them. They're in LA now. That's not too far away. I could still do it, right?
There you go.
I love the future of this Chargers team, and I think they got to make the playoffs. So they're my my last team.
Yep, I agree. I have KC in the Chargers also. KC, I agree that KC is a super big disappointment right now. Mahomes has been average at best and suspect. Mm-hmm. I get all that, but he has not been so bad that it's beyond. You can see them coming around.
They'll turn it around.
Winning this division and making some noise, maybe even getting back to the Super Bowl. You guys are crazy if you think Tennessee's got the best record. Are they better than the Chiefs when the Chiefs are right? No, they're not. Sorry. New England's got a rookie quarterback. They're solid. Baltimore just lost a horrible game. Cincinnati's got a rookie quarterback, inconsistent. There's nobody out here that you can say is way better than the Chiefs in the AFC. Period.
So who's your pick for the AFC? Top dog, gets the bye. Who is it?
It's the Titans, and it's based purely on the fact that they have a 2-game lead. They're 8-2. Next close, well, I should say 1.5 game lead. Buffalo and Baltimore, I believe, are both 6-3.
Yeah.
So they're 1.5 games back. But the Titans' schedule is so bad. I mean, I went and looked. I tried to find ways that they wouldn't be my number 1 seed because I don't believe in them that much.
Right. They don't feel like a number 1 seed.
Like you said,
right?
Henry's gone. I'm finding myself liking Tannehill a lot more than I used to for some reason.
Whoa.
I have shipped that guy under the bridge 1,000 times, but he's playing his best football. I don't know. I think maybe it's the weapons around him, and even with Henry out, he looked pretty good yesterday. I don't know. They're 8-2, and they got the worst division, worst schedule left I've ever seen. Go take a look at that thing if you don't believe me. So I think they win kind of by default. So are we
Buffalo
ready to
has
move
a tougher road, but I think defense wins championships, and I think they're going to rely on that defense down the stretch, and they'll be your number 1 seed. It's a bit chalky, but I think it's Buffalo.
Yeah, I wouldn't be. That's the team that could get there if anybody else could. To me too.
Right.
All right, let's move to the NFC.
Moving.
We've declared everything we needed to. All right, NFC East.
Tragic. So tragic.
It's just
Dallas.
I love it. And I'm just going to be a straight up hater on the Cowboys.
Please.
I know they're good and they're one of the better teams in the NFC. Nobody can say they're not.
And Dak Prescott is better than we want to admit Dak Prescott is.
Yeah, he is. But I mean, how good
is.
did we think he was? I mean, is he above average? Yeah. Is he elite yet? Are we calling him elite? I'm not. But I've seen people putting him on greatest of all time lists. Wow. It's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe for the Cowboys. He is in the conversation for top 5.
Is he better than Romo yet? I mean,
yes.
Okay. I would say that they're about even in my mind.
That's fair. I mean, Romo in his day, Romo in his best year was pretty darn good.
These guys are anointing this guy Christ. I mean, they're putting him up on a crucifix in the stadium tomorrow. That's what they're going to do. So, and guy, I mean, until you win something, don't talk. And then they're 7-2. I like his attitude. There's nothing to hate about this kid, really. I mean, he's a good player. Cowboys looked pretty freaking dominant. And they got a weak division, let's be honest. So who do you have here, obviously? Do you have anybody else that can make it out besides Dallas?
No.
The Eagles are freaking horrible.
Yeah.
What is going on with that team? That team should not be that bad.
Yeah, they got a quarterback, Jalen Hurts, who a lot of people argue probably not an NFL quarterback, but masquerading as one right now. I don't know what his upside is, but I think that he's not in the Dak Prescott conversation. Let's put it that way.
No, he sucks. He's not even in the Heineke, whatever his name is for the
I was about to say
below him, Washington football team.
Yeah. We don't even
know.
Heineke
going to change your tires down at the muffler shop. That dude is way better than Hurts. Go ahead.
And then you got the Giants. Team. Daniel Jones.
The Giants suck
5th overall pick.
This might be the worst division, dude. Look at this division. I wouldn't have said it at the beginning of the year, but this is a bad division.
No, there's worse. It's coming.
Yeah, okay. So with the Cowboys, I agree. Cowboys is the only ones getting out.
That's the only one.
Else, and I feel confident to say nobody else even has a shot out of those 3 teams.
Yeah.
Next.
So NFC this is your worst division.
This is the one you're going with, the worst division?
This is your worst division purely because the best team in this division, I think, looks like one of the worst best teams in football. Maybe you can make that case for Tennessee without Henry, but honestly, whenever I watch the Packers play, I feel like they're like a middle of the pack team, no pun intended, who is just beating the bad teams constantly. And you look at their division, you understand why.
They just happen to play a lot of bad teams twice every year too.
Right. So they got 8 wins. Congratulations. Part of this is because I think Aaron Rodgers is such a smart quarterback. He can game manage his way and play past his old age deficiencies. There, I said it again. I'm ripping on Aaron Rodgers some more. No harm, no foul there. But every time I look at his stat line, I think he's put up one impressive stat line all year. He's either below 200 yards or he's got like maybe 1 touchdown or no touchdowns and an interception. He just does not look like a top-tier quarterback.
They just win with a weak ass schedule, and they're just fine. And I agree, they do not look like 8-2.
Right,
8-2 again, the best record in the NFC as well, same as AFC.
Yeah,
Green
I think
Bay
it could catch up with them down the
8-2.
stretch. I think it could. I don't think Randall Cobb is like one of the best receivers in the league. Ooh,
thing is,
shocker.
though, they're going to get a home. They're going to get a home field game in the playoffs, if not a bye. I mean, I personally don't think they're going to win the conference to get the bye in the first round. But if they did, it wouldn't be shocking to me that they go get a win or 2 in the playoffs. I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl. I think it's going to end bad for Rodgers and Green Bay. If there are football gods out there, I think it should end bad for Rodgers and Green Bay. And I'm a Green Bay fan, and I used to be a big Rodgers fan, but I don't like the player and the person that he's become. And it has nothing to do with the COVID stuff. It has a lot to do with the fact that he just is very it's all about Rodgers and not about a team. And I don't know. F them, F him. Yeah. Only thing I hate worse than him is the Bears and the Vikings, and they both suck too. And the Lions are the worst team in the NFL.
It's painful. Yeah.
So
it's painful
is there
because
anything else to talk about here? Nobody else besides the Packers even has a prayer, right?
No, I don't even want to look at it anymore.
So that's two divisions. In the NFC, and only two teams we got in so far. So we got a plethora of teams coming in these next two divisions that we think can make it. How about the South?
I've got three teams from the South. 3 teams. So you can guess who they are, right? It's not the Falcons. I got Tampa Bay.
So anybody watching this, we did not talk about this ahead of time.
No,
but we have been pretty much in lockstep so far.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people probably are too.
Tampa Bay for obvious reasons. Super Bowl team. Tom Brady still looks good, even if he did lose this past weekend. New Orleans.
I think they're good, but they're Go ahead.
New Orleans, they lost Winston, right? Jameis Winston's out. I think that hurts them. I think that means they can't keep pace with the Bucs anymore. I think they get the last playoff spot just based on the NFC being garbage all other places, right? I think they find a way to squeak out some wins because Peyton's a good coach. Carolina, they got Cam Newton back. Spam Newton is back in Carolina, and I don't think they lose much from going from Darnold to an old Cam Newton. Maybe they gain something. Yep. So I think all 3 teams make it into the playoffs.
So do I. I agree 100%. I think Atlanta is way worse than 4-5 to me. That is
agreed.
That is a bottom of the barrel, maybe bottom 5 in the league team. I don't know how they have 4 wins. They've won ugly.
It's amazing. A negative 85-point differential. Come on.
I don't know if they'll win another game all year. Clearly, Matt Ryan has lost the respect of his teammates and everybody else in the world.
Yeah,
and he's had a nice career. It sucks for him. I think he gets a bad rap on some level. I've never been a fan of his. I think he was overrated in his prime. But I think right now it's like he's getting a lot of the blame, and it's not him. That's a bad team.
He was an NFL quarterback. He had his time, but that time is in the past.
And this division is arguably one of the better ones. I mean, even with all the injuries, because Tampa's got a ton of injuries. The Saints and Panthers have both had a ton of injuries, including their starting quarterbacks, and they're still good. I mean, this is a pretty balanced division. So yes, I agree.
Green Bay was in this division, they'd be 5-5 right now.
Yeah, they'd be right there with the Saints and Panthers.
Absolutely.
So we have we both agree: Tampa, New Orleans, Carolina coming out of this division. Atlanta's dead. Next, NFC West.
I think we got to agree here then too. This one is completely obvious. I think one of these 2 teams is going to be the one that represents at the top level. It gets the number 1, gets the bye. I think it's going to be Arizona. I told you I liked them at the beginning of the year. I like the way Kyler Murray's playing. I like the energy that they have. It could also be my number 2 would be Los Angeles Rams. Obviously, both of us like Matt Stafford. We like what he's done with Los Angeles. We're rooting for him.
And the Rams are shoving all in too with free agency and everything else. They are really shipping.
They're making some questionable decisions.
2022 Super Bowl, the Rams are moving all the chips to the center of the table.
Yeah.
And they're making smart moves, and they're making moves to win right now, and I'm all for it. I mean, if you got a team that can do it, Matt Stafford's not getting any younger. A lot of their players aren't getting any younger. It's time right now. It's their time.
Yeah.
I do fear Arizona. I mean, Arizona, what bad timing for the Kyler and D-Hop to get COVID, miss a game or 2, whatever's happening there. I don't know if they are back next week, but crunch time down the stretch to the playoffs here, and they lost to who'd they lose to? Carolina yesterday?
That was that sounds right.
A game that they wouldn't have lost if they had their team intact at home at Arizona. I mean, they're still going to win this division.
Yeah,
maybe, but the Rams. I think these are the 2 best teams. I'm going to go this far. I think these are the 2 best teams in the NFL, not just the NFC.
Right.
I think these are the 2 best teams in the NFL. And
I mean, I still think defense wins championships. I put Buffalo there.
But the Rams' defense is great too. I mean, look at.
I think Buffalo's defense has played better than the Rams' defense. I think if you look man to man, you can make a good case for the Rams for sure.
Look at Arizona, the Rams, and if you want to get cute, Arizona, the Rams. Obviously, you can't count out Tom Brady and the Bucs.
Right.
If you want to get cute, Dallas fans, go ahead. That's the 4th team that has a shot out of the NFC. AFC, sure. I really do think it's only Buffalo, KC, and Tennessee that has a prayer to win anything. And I don't really even think Tennessee does. Tennessee could win a playoff game. I don't think they're going further, though. So I think it comes down to Mahomes and Buffalo out of the AFC, and then the Rams, Arizona, and Tommy Brady.
If there were a long shot out there in the AFC, I'll throw some chips in and say Cincinnati's got the type of team that's young, starting to rise, and could run the table towards the end with Joe Burrow. If Joe Burrow starts like elevating himself to that next quarterback, figures out a few more things, they got a lot of pieces there, and they got a couple teams they could beat up on in their division. They could do something. I don't think they will, but
I say that
they could be
the
the team that.
year.
Well, they could also be the team that gets into the playoffs and peaks at the right time and starts running the table there. I like Cincinnati, but I think if we're going to talk about top two, Arizona, Buffalo, those are your top two teams entering the playoffs.
There you go. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Comment below. Let us know what you think of this thing.
Subscribe.
It's fun. Everything's getting tight. You're starting to see. I'd say about half the league has officially eliminated themselves. And there's the other half of the league that's fighting for the playoff spots and some respect and some home field advantage down the playoff stretch. So, yeah, subscribe to our channel if you like this video, and we'll do more of these. Not necessarily on this topic, but other topics.
Sure.
Thanks for checking us out. Bada boom, bada bing. Peace out.
All right.
Nice 10-minute episode there. Went for 26.